All right, let's just get right into it. Every year we talk about the Consumer Electronics Show, CES. But 2026, it just hit different. This wasn't just another tech show with cool gadgets. It felt like the year all that science fiction we've been dreaming about for decades finally started showing up on our doorstep. This wasn't a preview anymore, it was a full-on launch party for a brand new era.
So what made it so different? Well, let's start with this number, 38. Over 38 companies were there showing off production-ready humanoid robots. I'm not talking about concepts or clunky prototypes. We're talking about real machines ready to go into our homes and workplaces. This wasn't some little niche corner of the show floor. This was a revolution happening right in front of us. And it wasn't just about the robots. The numbers for augmented reality are frankly just as wild. We're looking at a projection of 1 to 2 million AR smart glasses shipping this year. I mean, think about that. That is a massive wave of new personal tech that's going to completely change how we see and interact with the digital world. And that really gets us to the heart of it. The whole theme of CES 2026 wasn't what if, it was when. And the answer for so many of these world-changing technologies is right now. This isn't some 5-year plan. This is a delivery schedule for 2026. You had this incredible convergence of robotics, AI, and what we call extended reality, or XR, which is basically both virtual and augmented reality rolled together. And all of it at once created a true inflection point, a moment where that line between science fiction and what you can buy just vanished. Right, so an inflection point is exactly that, a moment of dramatic change. And that is precisely what we saw. See, these weren't just separate trends happening at the same time. They were powerful technologies that were all merging, feeding off each other, and creating something completely new. So, okay, let's meet some of the stars of the show, because these aren't just abstract ideas, they're real products you might actually have in your house or see at your job really soon. This is where the future gets personal. Okay, first up, the 1X Neo. What's so cool about this one is that it's designed from the ground up for the home. It's got this soft polymer body, which is a huge deal for safety, around kids or pets. And get this, it's incredibly quiet, just 22 decibels. That's like a whisper. It's backed by OpenAI, which is a huge stamp of approval. The price tag is $20,000 plus a subscription, and they're aiming to deliver in the US this year. And then you have this, the LG CLOID. And this is a big deal because a giant global brand like LG is getting in the game. At the show, they had it folding laundry, loading dishwashers, and it learns your family's habits over time. When a company like LG jumps in, it signals that the whole industry is growing up. And for you and me, that means more competition, which eventually means better prices and better products. Now let's shift from robots to our own eyes, because the battle for our vision is officially on. On one hand, you have Samsung's Galaxy XR, the first big Android-based headset with a beautiful 4K display. But then you have the ASUS ROG X-Real R1, which is aimed straight at hardcore gamers. It's the world's first 240Hz AR glasses. That means a buttery smooth, zero-lag experience that gamers need. So you can see the market is already splitting into two camps, general use and high-end entertainment. And while these individual products are amazing, you have to zoom out and see that they're part of a much bigger story. This isn't just a couple of companies in Silicon Valley anymore. This is a massive worldwide technological wave. It is a truly global race. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. You can see China is leading in terms of sheer volume. 9 different companies, all focused on getting this to a mass market. Then you have the US with 5 companies, but they seem to be targeting those really high-value industrial and manufacturing jobs. It's this fascinating dynamic, right? Scale versus specialization. And hey, remember that delivery schedule I mentioned? Well, here you go. Some of this stuff is shipping right now. Other huge names, like the new Boston Dynamics Atlas and Samsung's XR headset, are rolling out in the first half of the year. The pace is just relentless. It's estimated that something like 65 to 75% of all these incredible innovations are targeting deployment this year, in 2026. The speed is just wow. But with all this incredible innovation, there's a catch. There's a hidden price. We have to talk about the unseen security risk, because every single one of these amazing new devices is also a new, powerful, and, let's be honest, potentially vulnerable computer that we're about to bring into the most sensitive parts of our lives. And the numbers here are just mind-boggling. In 2026 alone, we're looking at somewhere between 40 and 115 million new connected devices. And every single one of those is a new attack vector, a new potential door for someone to walk through into our homes and workplaces. That's a security challenge on a scale we've literally never dealt with before.
So, how do we even begin to think about this? Well, this three-layer threat model is a really useful way to break it all down. First, you've got the device itself. Think of it as the body. Then there's the central AI, the brain that's making all the decisions. And finally, all the personal data it's constantly collecting, that's its memory. Each one of those layers is a different kind of weak spot. So the obvious question is, which layer is the most vulnerable? Well, it's kind of a trick question. The real danger is that a hack in any one of these layers can cascade down and compromise all of them. You hack the device, you can poison the AI brain, which can then misuse all of that personal data it's stored in its memory. They're all connected.
And this leads to some very real and kind of scary vulnerabilities. You've got supply chain risk, where the software could be messed with before the device even gets to your house. There's the risk of someone corrupting the AI model, causing a robot to do something physically wrong. And of course, the big one, the risk of constant, always-on surveillance from devices that are capturing everything, with data policies that are, let's just say, not always clear.
Okay, so with all of that on the table, how are we supposed to navigate this new reality? The goal isn't to be afraid and reject the technology. It's about understanding how we can live with it safely and, securely.
The stakes here could not be higher. The projected global cost of cybercrime is on track to hit $20 trillion in 2026, and a huge chunk of that growth is being blamed directly on this explosion of new Internet of Things devices. This is not some small issue. It's a massive global economic threat. And this shift is fundamentally changing entire professions. This quote really says it all. Being a security professional isn't just about defending a computer network anymore. Now it's about making sure robots are safe, that data pipelines aren't corrupted, and that every piece of the supply chain is legit. It's a whole new ballgame.
Which really brings us to the final thought here. CES 2026 made one thing crystal clear. The future is not on its way anymore. It has arrived. The real question we have to ask ourselves now is, are we actually ready for its terms and conditions?